which is a white circle.
Progress.
That's okay. Which is a white circle. And then on top of that is the mandala of earth, which is a yellow square or rectangle.
다 디간라 산초 침분 추딩 까보 오당 오즈 촌도니지 배 첨보제 던저제사.
And then on top of that is the stupa of enlightenment, which is like translucent white and radiating light, very luminous.
조딘데 본반람나 세제 도제 자람제 데 도제 자람 그 때와도 동바르와 때와 그 동바 그 나한테는 다 딩그 간라 세제 도제 쟁가 봐야 랑대와지.
In the round vase of the stupa of enlightenment, there is a golden crossed vajra. As we said yesterday, the hub, the center of the vajra is hollow. Inside that hollow, there is a seat, and on top of that seat, there is a crystal vajra which is upright.
데네 세제 도제 때와 대양 동바르와 대가나라 데네 신제게 데다 마해당 녀다 마해당 베마당 녀다던데 럼바긴데 야자 야부 강라 데네 가서 잠바리 신제시 તના 공고고도와 이나르레 예테테 사옹게 영준도와 대 다다 말랑나 넥사리 노르딜랍디.
In the hollow hub of this crystal vajra, there are the seats of the deity. So we have the water buffalo, and on top of that is the seat of lotus, sun, and moon. And then on top of that, we have the deity Manjushri Yamantaka. So each of these has their own seed syllables, and we don't have to talk about that because we're doing a very brief review.
네, 단잠바 신지히 그 토가드나야. 토가드는 콜로 접이바제. 디간라 단잠바양 접르리 간란 잠바양. 샤나라 조데와 이야. 근데 직삼 되니 콜로 그 때와들라 양주된 직삼 고요래.
In the heart center of Manjushri Yamantaka, there is a four-spoked wheel. On each of the four spokes is a Manjushri. So 4 Manjushris. And then in the hub of that wheel, there is another stupa.
다틴 주딩게 범반나한테야. 범반나한테는 딩게 간라. 세제도제 쟁가 바제.
In the hollow vase of that stupa, there is a golden 5-pointed vajra.
세제 도제 제 나바데게 때와데 양 동바르와 대나로텔라 다 럼바긴도 메파시 탐나 이게 당부 좀 직선 때 빼요와 이게 때 그 때와텔라 홍지 검들세 버려서.
The hub of that golden vajra is empty, right? Of that golden 5-pointed vajra. So in that empty hub, inside of it, if we can, we visualize a drum syllable, and inside, just like the picture we have, inside of that drum syllable, there is a hong.
디 홍데 탈라 에카야마 도르 짝자스 데가 고르데와 에카야마 도르 짝자 디 송하르 모데 마레다 에카야마 도르 짝자스 데티보 같은데스 고르데와 고르.
Around this hong syllable, there is the mantra Om Ekayama Durutsatra. So this is not the protection mantra. So that's the mantra that is around the hong syllable.
데 메바시 탐나 홍글레 건나나 다 라마당 로보 세드다 자체슈도 저잖아. 곡발라 메액 담분나라 고바 나랑 같으니 송와세 거지. 샤프요나는 코르당 노르제선 가장 라비오바. 드네세드네 메바 십차시 고와당 대다우시 토바요나 tende che gomsa.
The visualization is inside of the Hong syllable, that at the top of the Hong syllable you place the lamas, the rinpoches, the very holy beings. In the belly of the Hong, you have those to be protected. This is like we said yesterday. And then in the crook of the Hong, we visualize like all of your material wealth, your possessions, and so forth. If you can, that's how you visualize.
Teni tek ye tang yun dun tang jap tela. Yom mamo chame ma, se yamaraza, kodron chibda na po, sondro solda na po. Ti kori yata yo patenda sam. Jepan ro se na te re la te saun re yo na teni la la. Ya nen jo ge yorwa yina ta dordi se na tenda. Dente. Kodron chibda na po, jap to sondro solda na po.
La. So yundu.
Yun da mamo chame ma. Yes yamaraza, se yamaraza. Dente kodron chibda na po. Jap to sondro solda na po se te so yo pasam.
Kuting. The dundu kuting.
Kotor.
Kutul.
Tate me malam nan degere.
Ning la godai.
Ya kotor chibda na po.
Chiptag nado. Okay. Dine gyat lok la.
Sondro solda na po.
Okay. Sokdak.
Solda.
Sokdak. Nakpo dak.
Na po.
Okay, nakpo. Okay. Then on the right, the left, the front, and the back, there are as follows. On the left is Yum Mamotrak Mikma, the consort Mamotrak Mikma. On the right is the son Yamaraza. In the front is Kutrul Chidak Nakpo, and in the back is Sodak Nakpo.
Ya gom thamna tan gom gore.
If you can, that's how you visualize.
Teni te shipja ha kondo yo na druptab jepa na yore.
If you need to get further detail, you can consult the extensive text.
Te yena ta mambo gom thogo marewa. De lab de na ya. Tinto shida yo mare.
But most of us can't do such an extensive visualization, so we don't need to get lost in the details.
Teni tik srola dan chuding ge nang la ri da. Te song cho mo mangbo ji ya nang lo la chune teni tende se ne song jog bu cho te ta ko te tende se mangbo ji yo sam ba se.
So this has all been inside that stupa, and then around and outside of this.
Inside.
Inside.
Still
Okay,
inside.
still inside. Strike this from the record. That's going to be very confusing for everyone. So we're still inside the stupa. Inside the stupa, we visualize many male and female wrathful ones who are there to protect.
Oh yeah, dan chuding ge sram la re. Dan chuding ge sram la teni ko khang ram ba juk som la yen ba ka chang. Ko khang ram ba juk som de jig se la jig sen tende sen ta yo pan ra wo. Tende se sang go re.
So now we're moving outside, and outside of the stupa there are the 13 tiered protective sphere that we talked about yesterday. So it's a succession, so there's one layer of protection, then another, then another.
Da de zo la me pa shipja sen ne gom ya yong go yo ma re. Mang ra ne re ba. Yina mu ba zam. Mu gom zam. Da de da we yo ba je sam.
Most of us will not be able to sustain such an elaborate visualization, and that's okay. So we just do it. You could call it like a devotional visualization. You could call it a visualization that is merely thinking that is there. A visualization that is like aware of all of those facets.
Da jerem go ko te tende chi. Teni te 가장 진진 라비엠바 데이터 넘버 곰 사베지 소더니 당우수 20발라더니 저 진장에 데라 니스메 바세 템송 삼바세 시조데 지람리와.
So then yesterday we talked about how in the generation stage that's the visualization of yourself as the deity, and then comes the invitation where you invite the actual deity of timeless knowing before you, and then you merge inseparably.
오야 당아서 교장 종아바텔라다.
So now we're on page 15.
다 데이터고 20발라된 가서 곰데베 담세버 텔라 철템 사베지스 간데 상고 요래. 데브제 트린도 코르케 닌지 독바진 탐제 되제라 라는 바다. 인제 세담 랑아게 뭐 속분 터절단된 바죠. 다 데이터고 자송 상고 요래.
So we should be thinking, okay, now we're at the part of the practice where the deity of timeless knowing has merged inseparably into us, and afterward, what is going to happen? And so we're at the top of page 15. The 8 classes of gods and demons are bound to servitude. All malicious ones can now be destroyed at the same time through compassion, and I am endowed with the power and strength to overcome others' sorceries and spells. Shengi chetem yinsare, malicious ones. Oh, malicious ones is Dukbachen.
어?
Dukbachen.
오야 다님바다고 가서 나 존들는도가 교장 교급은한테는 다다.
So now we can move on to page 16.
다님바다고 가서 나서 담에 반다다고 zon야는 저거요. 랑힌제 히에도 살we 토칸 녀마iten고지 땡도 도르징고 째nga 버테와 홍테나 컨터 답즈나 지고라세 나데베 체 녀마당 도르제 홍예 남 몽골와 나전 트랄니와 예수 주미체던 코르케 나전 사운당 도르제 당제발 원주 라마야다 산제 산선 보원칸로 최종 소마 담제 니벤주 바퍼 대난제서 납단 친제 님도 담제 든 나전 사운당 제발라 대 라야 원주 레도가 선제나라 포페 데트 장 다텐제 헤린도 자텔라서 라젠제 헤 고모도 잠바 이게 선보 공방라고 대남제 최단 소나 밤ਜੋ 솔 원당 롱데 톱남당 용왕아 로준 바탐제 두등한다 사원도제 바 템사 야 라운 트페 다게 노제 탐제로 포페 대 탐제 라만 바 왕도 되신 진도 거 마도와나 차르제 대남제 폰조 탐제 두등한다 사원도제 바 탐진 코어죠 세네 메바 대다버선의 당보 님바테 대다고 그 메바세네 다고리더니 나 다고 갑서 메반다만도 망보요래 람바이인데 드니 라고이 담보 대세 거래 대다음에 봤을 거래.
Okay, so actually back on page 15. 예, 로고르베. 인지게.
15에
15 이사래라. 랑기 투카네.
가르라고요, 저게. 맞어 이게 가르베.
가까이 인사만해.
No. 19.
Oh, 19. That's right. Oh. Okay. We're in the small print here on page 19. Indicate
Logo.
Okay. It is good to do this mantra recitation with the visualization described in the utterly secret oral instructions on the regular deity practice from the Secret Moon Tantra. Visualize yourself as Yamantaka, in your heart center is a sun disk upon which is a blue 5-pronged vajra. In its hub is a dark blue hung syllable surrounded by the mantra to be recited. When reciting the mantra, the sun disk and the vajra with the hung do not move, while the mantra garland circles clockwise, fiercely, fast, and unceasingly. Light radiates from the mantra garland, the seed syllable, and the vajra. It makes pleasing offerings to all the gurus, yidam deities, buddhas, bodhisattvas, dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians. It gathers all their blessings, wisdom, love, and power, and dissolves back into the mantra garland and seed syllable. Again, light radiates, and by touching the 6 classes of sentient beings, their negativities and obscurations are purified, and they are established in the state of the wisdom deity Manjushri. The light gathers all their longevity, merit, wealth, life force, bodies, strength, and the power of their luck, and all the vitality and potency of the 5 elements, which dissolve back into the mantra garland and seed syllable. Again, light radiates, and by touching all the enemies, obstructors, and harm doers, they are overpowered and bound into servitude. Those who have not joined them are annihilated. The light gathers all their abundance, which dissolves into the mantra garland and seed syllable.
Ta mikpa tawaje sene, ti mikpa la ramba khashe yorba. Te ramba yin de mikpa tawaje sene, teni nga daya la on ato teka Yamantaka hong pek se jute dago yore.
So I didn't quite get to say from the last utterance, this is the visualization for this moment of the mantra, but each mantra has a corresponding visualization. So it will change, and Rinpoche says, will go through each successively. But for this moment, we're doing the mantra Om. How does it? Om Akroteka Yamantaka Hung Pet.
Ta nimpa dava kapsu mikpa te tawa sijutela ngarang hinje la sarne lab yorba. Ngarang hinje la sarne lab yorite. So te mikpa zongjute sawon te tang te ngang korte la mikpa zongjute tela zongore. Ta ngarang hinje sen ancha chama sen hinje yang pe sapu gomya chikta. Te toka ke teni sawon tang ngang korte gomya te so. Chachang sapu je chapchi te yonga mare. Yena zo mikpa zongsa te nga sawon tang ngang chen te la kone. Yena ngarang te hinje yin sampe ke che nga janda oje yorba. Te yupa gani. Teni mikpa ngoma zongsa te toka ke sawon tang ngang chen te la zongore. Chirang zo ti semtra go mare ta nga hinje kandase gore hinje te pe sharsam sato mambo che gonya ta yang toka la ngang ko gonya ta tende yongo mando sani ke tende semtra go mare semte mayamba se den regde yore.
So the main thing to focus on when doing the mantra repetition at this mantra repetition is the seed syllable and the mantra garland. So there's the seed syllable is situated in the heart center, and around the seed syllable is the mantra garland. And because we probably won't be able to have a clear visualization of every single detail that has come up until this point. What's the main point is to visualize the seed syllable and the mantra garland while thinking, I am Yamantaka. So we still have the divine pride, I am Yamantaka, but we're focusing primarily in the heart center with the seed syllable and the mantra garland. You don't need to worry. I know there's a lot of concern, like I'm not able to do it, or what's this and what's that, and how does Yamantaka look, and what's going on, and where are the stupas and everything. So you don't need to worry. Just think, I am Yamantaka, and then focus on the seed syllable and the mantra garland. Oh, there's nothing omitted in that.
During the mantra recitation, visualize it, Yamantaka myself. That part is not so important. You focus it inside the sixth syllable in the mantra garland. Yeah, I'm pointing is that. Yena tikap so na ta hong te pe chung chung gom tom na yapo yores. Pe na purpa na song yorwa. Purpa na doje purpa na te hong te pe pukachipa na yi. Pukachipa na yi hong chung chung. Teni tela kala ya nga korde wa purpa doje purpa na song yorwa. Te tan teni chikpa re. Katse chung 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 gom tom na te yaga yore. Chung chung gom tom na teni chirang sem te sarvo ta. Tempo yopaka la tene teni pe chung chung te gom to yore. Teni chung chung lab goya te ta chirang yang to tende sen practice se ne teni ha cha tempo yong ya tempo cha ya ke che te pe chung chung gom go re song yore ba.
Bu dripasarna di rebe. Okay. But while we do the mantra repetition, we should, if possible, visualize the Hong syllable very small. So it says, for example, in the Kalaya literature, that you should visualize a teeny tiny Hong as if it was drawn with a hair. So then even around that would be the Kilaya mantra. So as small as possible, we should visualize the Hong syllable. And the point is that this helps keep the mind clear and stable. So meditating upon a teeny tiny syllable helps stabilize and clarify the mind. And if you're wondering, well, how can I keep my attention on such a small syllable? You just do it again and again, and you practice, and your mind will grow more and more stable.
Rāngyē sōngsī cē sō nā yī nā pā nōzī nām jī kū shēng sō jī kāng tō chēng chō pō pō nyē nōzī tam jī tsār jē sī cē sō nā yī nām pā jīng tēng chō nē hōng ngō pō hōng pā rō nām pā jīng sē tē rāng sā sōng sā nā lā tēm shēng lā yāng chō pō pō nyā sāng jē tāng sāng jē sāng pā lā mā yī tā pā ngō rō chū chōng sō mā tam jī jī sēng lāp lā sīng tēm jī jī sō nyēng rē chō kē cē sō pām jū Jōngwā ngā yī jū tam jī kōk shīng rāñī lā tēm pē chāng tāng sī jīng tō tō tāng tīng pā chō sā. Yāng tē tā wā sā na, mē pā tē tā wā sām nē yāng ngā dā jū tē chīk pā rē.
And then sometimes, if you have the interest, you can go to page 15 and do the visualization found there. So at the bottom of page 15, from my heart center emit light rays and countless emanated messengers. And then 16, these emanated messengers go to destroy all harm doers who have stolen the life forces of myself and those that need protection in the form of Nri syllables, wherever these have been carried in the 10 directions. Having taken back the life force in the form of Nri syllables, they become blue Hong syllables that blaze with light, and these melt into myself and those who need protection. Again, the emanated messengers go out to seize the blessings of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Gurus, Idam deities, Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors, and guardians, the life essences of the 8 classes of gods and demons, the longevity, merit, and wealth of the 6 classes of beings, and all the vital essences of the 5 elements. All these melt into me, whereby I become endowed with radiance, splendor, and strength. So this is like a corollary visualization for the same mantra.
나 따당 아주 냠실 림베게티 줍탑데 가장 라파리와 코란게 실레조데 송와다 녹바다 세바세나 던데 임베 좀생라다 메바텐도 송요레 양 카힐라 데이터고 근데 봐요 사마레와 대는 그래 저런 데이터 메바시 고메나 다 네말라바나 인신 메바세는 하다는 저거요.
Sorry, my pen died. One moment, please. There you go.
저리다.
Dice eso. Ngala shandachi. Okay. So as we said yesterday, there are the three kind of spheres of activity of Yamantaka. There's protecting, repelling, and slaying. And for that reason, there are different visualizations that are described. So it's possible that some visualizations are not what you want to practice at that time, and that's okay. You can return to the essential visualization.
Teni yang cham chamla te yore tata di nang nam du kamsan malu yaye chimbo da zo na malu thoja chimbo zo sin nimba da ka se te yang lo gre ta te chik che ta mala na chor te ton da kare re se na ta me pa ka yang me che ne gon ja ne sem lu lu se na ma yin ba che na ngarang ka sem ka che ngola choro ta lu lu se de ne te zogorong kangan ni ba da se yore tela te kaps me pa kan sam sam da ta ba me pa sin de yang tang dao che ge wa a ta me pa de mon de se no me ba da wa yong ge te kaps na o yin je men je me pa se go ma re o sen ko lo lo chi de ne sem ko rang ge che ngarang ge sem rang la cho ta ma yang wa se den de ngang ni ba da ju de yang de ge yore Driwa tsama che ngune se na te zoram jingane ni ba da se te yag yore yina mangbo che te se ne sem ke che ranshi ke te na de thok yo mare te le tine me pa se go yore de thuna gom jane nga da ju te yag yore
It's not in this particular concise sadhana, but in other Yamantaka sadhanas, it says also that sometimes you can repeat the mantra without doing any visualization. At that time, you have an undistracted mind, you relax your mind, you look inward at your own mind, and it's you keep repeating the mantra, but it's like a mantra repetition within the completion stage. So you don't do any visualization at all. Because sometimes when you're doing intensive visualization, it can be tiring. And if you find yourself becoming kind of weary, you don't have to always do the visualization. So sometimes if you're finding yourself getting kind of tired from the visualization, you can simply relax your mind. You look inward at your own mind, remain undistracted, and keep repeating the mantra. This is a mantra repetition within the completion stage. And if you can do that, it's actually even better. So a lot of us have a hard time resting in the nature of our mind, and for that reason we have visualization. But if you can rest in the nature of your mind, that's even better.
Teni rang sem la chorta silu tangki je ta sa je ni yo mare 양제 던들 고알린 시바르와 담메제다 대다사제 니요바나 인도 던데제요 말에 랑가 선로 랑가 sorta시디 셈라 남도제 양메바 사르 탱탱제 고랑가랑 인데들 사 탱탱제 던데제제 나나 네텀나 던데 대가 서 랑가상 랑가랑라 다세지데 던데제 차고요래.
So when I'm saying you look within at your own mind, it's important to understand that the looker of that which is looked at are not two separate things. So it's possible to think that I am looking at something else besides me. So the looker and that which is looked at are not two different things. So we simply turn our attention inward and we look at our own mind, and the mind is free from thoughts, crystal clear, and then we're arriving at mind's nature. And if you can abide therein, then the looker and that which is looked at are really one and the same.
Same Quran ke ranchi ke tenla repanganga nendo bukapsu kande yonga yosena namto je chena lamsan chorto ko yore lamsan chorto ba tende je yona tani jirang te sar ke je repanganga nede ba tare namto je chena chor ma tha ba je yonga don chamsang te sari de ha ko na te na ta jirang mune sem repanganga ne me be tare tende
Namto lamsang langna?
남도 랑나 람상 하고 그도가
하고기도 okay.
대나 지랑 셈 릭방나 데스 네데 요 베다르바
Lasso. Okay. When you are able to rest in the nature of your own mind, if you're dwelling within awareness, thoughts will still occur, but if you're able to immediately understand their occurrence, that is a sign that you are really dwelling in awareness. However, if thoughts occur and you're not aware of that occurrence, if you don't understand what is happening, then that is a sign that you are not yet able to rest or dwell in the awareness of mind.
대가 소티 신제들라 신지 희라고 요르바 신제스는 야마르바 디기 그런 그 간원라고 신지 희스 당아서 냠레스디 때 간도 고아 랭거리스나 신제의 가르레 나란 속에들 샘줄라 뉴몽데 신제라 고아 랭거리 다티 희의 가르레 르바다레 진시 르바 나란서 르바 요바 값스 뉴몬데 메파 람상 땅 타고 요래 뉴몬게 님본다오데 진시 르바 대차데 요래 얘나 제 문에서나 니요 말에 뉴몬게 라이 희자나 동아데도 잠소성도 뉴몬게 라이 희도 대가 랑 이시리 말아레바가 손도 뉴모 란창 르파나 이히사바 로르메스 텔로스지바 이히스는 임바지 요 마레스 뉴모 강 임바티 응네 단에 코랑케 네땅테 하고온데 텔라 이히라고 요레스 뉴모 네땅테 하고온데 뉴모 란로든 로차바레 뉴모 란로든 로차바레 근데 힌지 히스 된 대다고 할래 거요레 맞소 냐네스 부갑스
In talking about Yamantaka, or in Tibetan Shinji She, this taka, is the slaying of Yama. So how should we understand this? Like, what's the etymology of the name? When we're in the context of meditating, the Yama, like the Lord of Death, the Yama is the afflictions in our own mind stream. So when we say Shinje She Yamantaka, what is the slaying of this yama? It is Rigpa, it is awareness. It is mindful awareness. When we have mindful awareness, then afflictions are immediately obliterated or recognized. The essence of the afflictions themselves is seen to be or recognized as mindful awareness. So they're not separate. They're not two separate things. The nature of the afflictions themselves, once the affliction dies away, what is revealed, like this ocean of suffering, these afflictions themselves are revealed to be timeless knowing, yeshe, timeless knowing. So regarding that, Milarepa has said, when you see the afflictions or the conceptual afflictions themselves, you see nothing but timeless knowing, or they're revealed to be nothing but timeless knowing. So whatever the afflictions are, when we recognize them, when we see their abiding nature, we arrive at timeless knowing. So that means that the afflictions are already naturally liberated. Their natural liberation of the afflictions brings us to timeless knowing. So the she in Shinje She, the taka in Yamantaka, the slaying of the Lord of Death, is slaying the afflictions by recognizing them to be timeless knowing in the context of meditation. The nature of afflictions is timeless knowing. Did you get it?
That thing also nyamle sipa kapso ramba yendo ngaran sokati 전시 디 르바데 혁체 당고래 다다가 저페 혁춘조마도 요 말에 배나 매나 예리 다다가 저 전시 르바데 매나 예리 매 당부 충충지오나 데름바 인데 데 송접스는 코치 당고로 와 근데 전부 차서도 고 송접고 말에 가래나 책도 버리 디나 예서는 가서 다다 도마 냐스는 바깝서 nyamong chung chung, shuk chung chung to sola. Dor to kun do ta mo do. Nyamong pe shuk chenbo. Yena tata kabo re ma so. Timbo de sam cha yo ma ba. Nyamong shuk chenbo te so tata nga so ke ti semlo chor te ne. Ko ran ro tang to ku ma re. Yena chung chung te so nga su tata te sar ke te se na. Dong top si ba re. Tende se na teni te shuk cher ro ya yo re. shok cheru rona tani dimarina nyamong shok chenpo kanda che yena ya dongar ta nopa shok chenpo kanda che yena te kanya kumu taba te me chenpo na ye cha me chenpo cha na naksar tsek ru dowa sheng longpa yang tsek ru dowa zangpo yang tsek ru kare ngenpa yang tsek ru kare kenya yang tsek ru kare mek ti na yin je cha ya yo re es
But we have to work step by step, gradually, to arrive at that kind of ability, that facility with our afflictions, with our afflictive emotions. So we need to help our mindful awareness to improve. We need to improve our mindful awareness. Right now, our mindful awareness is rather small. So we can think of it like a fire. When you have small embers, when the fire is small, you need to protect it. And so you protect it until the fire kind of gets big enough, and once the fire is really raging, then you don't need to worry about it at all. So right now, we might be able to liberate rather small afflictions. We might be able to look at our afflictions as very small afflictive emotions as they occur and liberate them. but we are overwhelmed by bigger afflictive emotions, and we cannot liberate them. We don't have that power yet. But it's possible that we can liberate some small afflictive emotions, and so that's great. We just keep doing that and kind of tending our fire and making it grow more and more until eventually, no matter what afflictive emotions arise, no matter what difficulties befall us, no matter what suffering we encounter, we're able to liberate it. So a fire can reach such kind of like ecstatic inferno status that it just blazes through fire. It blazes through whole forests. So it blazes through good things. It blazes through bad things. It blazes through anything.
다 곰 다다팅 흰기 희시나 다당아 저 대다고 고알린 거래. 녀몽바테 흰지 디 르파테 디시 디나 이세나 아주 셀로 chod잖아 다 냠lên 디나 이 고알린 거 요래.
So that's how we should think of it when we're actually meditating. We should think that what we're slaying truly is our afflictions, our afflictive emotions. And we're arising into the mindful awareness that can look within at our own mind to slay our afflictions. So that's what we should understand while we're meditating.
다테 타버가 ngani nga 니파다야 테타 조름가 ngani 니파다스죠. 테타 미파 곰 마고 왔잖아. 대 조랑가 ngani 니파다스나 다 테타위 ngani 니파다죠. 땡문에서는 초도 줘봐. 자기요래 송요래.
So that description was regarding the mantra repetition without visualization. So the mantra repetition within the context of completion stage. And that's the best kind.
Tene yam kahelati mikpandetawa gogo yosari. Tena tatena ramba yindu kyangmu troksena daledowa.
Dharma katse?
Shodan kyubden bana tene tatatin jok tene
Oh,
mana
that's
kodwa.
okay.
Nga chedra tang ozel ponya pato me pa trupe. Dadon lasin devje tamchi zerhin to site ramba tangbo. Tene tijin ramba yindu trok yongdowa. Tate taba mikpa se ne ngada. Yang mikpa nipa de se ne ngada. Yang mikpa sumpa de se ne ngada. Tende se na ndege yores. Ka hela te taba go yore. Tende te taba che guni dang te taba che ndome yoni de na te taba se ne mikpa ramba yinde se hera ngada he to se na ndege yore sa. Ina ten tata mikpa ramba trupo ten ta tik to go ngipa yo mare.
On page 17, where we left off, there is the 6 female jackals. So there are some people who need this visualization, and that's also fine. So it's a visualization that comes in 6 successive parts. And so there'll be the first visualization and then a corresponding mantra, a second visualization and a corresponding mantra, a third visualization and that mantra, and so forth. And so if somebody needs to do these visualizations, they can definitely do that. But there's no fixed way that we have to visualize. Like you don't have to.
Tene te soka kapsa ato teka Yamantaka te ta tsavini parwa. Te mempa ke sunwa ke nga tang dopa ke nga yorwa. Te tsu dena yang chogo yore. Mepa te soka kapsa. Lapa te mepa truk doa. Mepa truk te tawa sena nga dawa kapsa dopa ke nga te chade yore. Dopa ke nga te. Dopa ke nga te dane teni mepa te tsuramba yende ta nga rang kang la kang goa kang dueme yoba. Tina yi sena teni nga da ju te 송화 당 녹바 주지야 녹바디 다고요 디갑스.
The Atoteka Yamantaka is the root mantra, but then there's the protecting mantra and the repelling mantra. So here in these section of these 6 female jackals, these 6 visualizations correspond to the repelling mantra.
Teni tata sungwa gan nimpa inandra dopa gan nimpa inandra te tena tata gatin boji ga song yusari dena jingzhe xie te sen duwa de tabi samno tana yapo yore ma to yang che pe ko tata dopa gan nimpa ti cik na yi samno tana yang te sen zhiga yo ma re cik na yi sen xa la jo, cha la jo, nying la jo 早了就是他的职能一样，过了你把这的呢，这啥的个，真的这俺你这大不就你把这那样，懂得，的那都个是校长你学能的都个，这些这，这那也上了当过有的是。Page 20. They have a little instruction. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the middle of page 20, where it says Om, it looks like something from Garchen Rinpoche. So, yeah, this is a little instruction to kind of
song la bwa song ha da ka song do song ha da ka ta song mang bo ji yo ro ta ka ro song go ri ngone se na nyu mong ba song nyu mong ba nga le song go yo re dong da te song do ro mo chak.
So during the mantra repetition for protecting, we're saying protect, protect, protect a lot. What are we protecting? And that's the meaning here. So we're protecting against our afflictions.
Ta yang do wa ga nga ga kap se yang sha la jo nyeng la ma ra jo u la jo so la ma ra cha la jo za la ma ra jo se te jo tro do wa te ngone se na nyu mong ba tro tang de wa yo ri song do wa ro mo chak nyu mong ba te som me ba yong ya ga che da wo la mun je ye ga se go re ma ngone sha tang cha tang te la so pa te ka re se go re o che work down so that's all long songs in the
likewise in the repelling mantra where we say shala juk, and trakla juk and all these juks. Juk is, you could say, like get out, go away, kill, yeah.
Sha, cha, so work. That's all
yeah. We are saying basically obliterate afflictions. So make the afflictions be gone. And we shouldn't think about it in terms of like the literal words of flesh, blood, breath, life force. We shouldn't think that we're obliterating those.
Yeah. Do
you understand? Are there questions?
No. No question. Yeah.
Question?
Oh
yeah. So we can do questions, that's fine.
I had a quick question for you. If I recall correctly, in Garchi Rinpoche's textbook, the Vajrakilaya text specifically, it says that you have to start with visualizing the seed syllable at the beginning, right? The practice, and then you eventually, once you start this visualization, then progress this to the deity, right? But so is the mantra recitation what's lighting kind of the fire and allowing you to eventually visualize the seed syllable? That was the question.
So like, does the seed syllable come from the mantra repetition?
Yes, because you're meditating, but you're also doing the mantra recitation at the same time, right? So is that what's going to basically allow you to rise up the seed syllable from within, right? So,
Ngi goala di sabun kadu yongres ngaso nga depe jila sabun gongores
nga
gongores.
debe jila mare nga debe ngula gongorwa tambo sawu gong teni sawu tel nga kor dewa gong te gongorwa
Ore
te
la
gong sabe jisu teni nga da
ore tene kongi drala di samsam ngaso nyempe kapsu mekpa gom gogorwa tene di mekpa madin hunna sabun gom gorbes.
te ngula sawu ta de tambo cheren ga kapso ni tambo ni sawu yojo yore yena takwa te sam de go mare ta ti kapso sam ji mambo yore wa cheren sam na ta kumdo san jin jin chalo ta ma donpa na ni ma don yo de ti don de lo ni sha wa na yin sen san sha go wa ti kapso yin ji me ji hong de sam de go mare wa teni hong sam sa la tu du nga da sa la tu du teni ti saung ka re na te ti kapso tena
Yes.
tela ti me pa te chon don ra tela se na pe ti kapso tela me pa te go yore.
Yeah, so there's kind of two different seed syllables, two different occasions. So there's the seed syllable at the very beginning of the generation stage, and then everything that comes out of that seed syllable. And that Rinpoche says, and then comes the full deity with like every color and implement and ornament, and all that can kind of pass before your mind like a movie. But then when you get to the actual like main mantra repetition, then you're focusing like on the hong, and we call that a seed syllable as well, but that's kind of like a different occasion that we're working with the syllable. Does that make sense, or do you need more clarification?
Ta ko ko pa che te se yo sa re
Okay.
pha na na yore ba
Listen.
pha na na jeram te ma lo yong bo kapsa ti na na ya ti thoka la teni serje dorje ta ti thoka la hong se ne ti jeram ne yong ga yore ba ti kapsa ti ton da te o tende do wa sa ni ha ko go yore yina telan jing do go yo ma re pha khon ro ya na cho yore jeram ka kap ma lo bo kapsa ta kan de lam da na ti sem na na ma ren ba yin de lo ni de wa na yin se na man ro ya na tena de de go yo ma re ha ko so pa che pha na tende yo de la ba sa
So, Chikchina kongi go to what the sabun, the hongi sab, the ngak de bekapsu hong la te go gorwa.
re re
Then a diang sabun up yorwa. Sabun sergedu.
ku ta cheram gom pa kap sa tani hong che gom do go re be la go do te yo ma re wa
Okay.
pha ke cheram na na ta tin na yo re la kan de se gom go la ke thoka la tani dor je ta te sa won la hong yo pa te ko la la yo re
Nasa.
te de cheram ma ro ya na de yo re
Nasa.
hong den zin de go yo ma te kap sa ha ko so
Nasa.
teni nim ba da kap sa ta ya yo na hong de la re pa te na teni nim ba ko ko de wa te la re pa te na teni ti kap sa ta te du te la re pa te go yo re so atende la ko do wa
Nasa. So, for example, in the Kilaya practice, in the heart center, there's a golden vajra and then a hong, and all these things are happening in the Kilaya practice. And you read it and you go through it all, but you don't need to like hold it in your mind. You just let it go by, kind of like a movie, like you're watching a movie. And then you're the deity, and then again in your heart, there's like in the heart center of the deity, there's a vajra and the hong syllable, but you don't need to, I'm kind of repeating myself, but you don't need to like hold on to all of that. You kind of let it go by, whatever you're reading. And then you focus on on the syllable when you're reciting the mantra. So yeah. So the main thing that you focus your attention on when you're repeating the mantra is the syllable, but it's like not quite the same as the syllable in the beginning.
Yeah, in particular text, during the generation stage, they mentioned Vajrakalaya's heart, how it looks like Vajrakalaya, his heart, God in Vajra, the center of God in Vajra, they have a home syllable. They talk about that. That time you just let it go. You don't need to slack there. Then time to mantra recitation, then you go back. Go back, focus to this home syllable and the mantra, garland. Focus to then come back. I think your question is that.
Visualizing the hung syllable in our heart and the mantra revolving around it, should the script be visualized as Sanskrit, the Sanskrit mantra revolving around it?
Nocturne the Sanskrit ge yige gogedues.
Nocturne Sanskrit yige jiga goyo mara boyegna yisegana chore. 파체가 산스크리트는 약보하거나 디나이세나 저게 요로. 야 사보하 뭐 파체 다 보예나 인가서 남주 다 보예나 이 공고 요로 봐. 보예나 인 공대는 되게 좋아요.
인지액 이나 되게래.
다 보예 마시나. 보예라 깔레 카본도나 되니 인치가 다 세잖아. 파체 저거 여절이 상거도. 말한 거 상. 저 가르리 쪼가를 따고로와 저랑게 샘때 띵보지 네트가 제대로도와 샘때더니 다 담보 간전 상원 공거 요래 되니 간전 공거 요래 되니 람바 이도 간전 코르데와 공거 요래와 된데 람바 인데 샘때 정다 장와서 이거도와 고띵 로치 답히리도와 된데 파체데 인지가 했나요?
If you really know Sanskrit well and it's easy for you, it's fine for you to visualize the mantra garland as Sanskrit letters. For us Tibetans, we visualize the mantra in Tibetan. And so then the translator said, so what about English? And this is the response. My opinion would be that it is most likely probably fine to visualize it in English, because let's think about what's the main point of what is happening. The main point is that we are stabilizing our mind, and we're using this focal point to rest our mind and make our mind stable. So first we visualize the seed syllable, then we visualize the mantra garland, and then that mantra garland starts to rotate. And we do all of these stages so that we can keep our mind there and stabilize our mind. And that stabilization gets deeper and deeper, and it's a method to deepen our stabilization. So if in that spirit, I would say that it's most likely probably fine to visualize it in English.
다 인지가 인공고를 람나 양카힐 때 따초대요래 인지가 책때 가서 남주 배주선도 야게 책제리와 이게 된도 어때 ordinary인다 어째 리서 때 부예나 때서게 양 자치완다고 던도지 손낭 요래서 가힐라
예
근데 이나다 부예나 이뭐 봐서 배나 가히게 됐어도 가서 돈판돈도 보게서는 돈을 가능성이도 와 그래서 거기 보게 희게요 말아. 이나 보예나 이 라당선으로 초바 대야도 세게도가 가지. 대나 인세나 인지들 때서 돈종도 뜻당을 삼바가 근데 천낭요나. 되네 다 보예 다다가 보예 보게 예속. Tendesene gontona, tenite ta te sar ka chimbo ndo che. An sogerwa. Tende yo data ga samno yuna, ta poyena yi ishite den te ya jure.
Yes. However, there are some Westerners, some English speakers who find the English script too ordinary. They feel like, well, this is just, I'm used to reading this, in my ordinary life, and so thinking about things in that English script is too ordinary. And they just have this feeling that the Tibetan script is more sacred. And so, there are some people who prefer to chant their practices in Tibetan, even though they don't really even know Tibetan, but they just feel like it's more sacred that way. And so if you're someone who feels that way, if you're someone who feels kind of this connection to the Tibetan script and you find it more sacred for some reason, then it's better for you to visualize the mantra in a Tibetan script.
Tene ngaso tata ti nimpa tso tsur poketene jogyo mare. Jogyo ma te ta tongda yore da.
Yeah.
Tate ko Sanskrit na yin se da ti na yin se la de yore. Tate ti teng sapo chi yemban ro go choi yore ba. Ti nga de ma tata nga so tongda de ma jor ya na shida an ti na yin ge che pa chan ro teng sapo te yemba la de na yoga ma do wa. Te ta yemba de su chuni yo mare wa. Yemba de su chuni yo mare te jo ma jo wala ko go ba jom sin che yo sa de.
It's important to note that the mantras that are in Tibetan script are just Tibetan script. They're still Sanskrit. And so while the teachings were being translated from Sanskrit to Tibetan, they intentionally remained the mantras were intentionally Sanskrit. They retained the Sanskrit. They did not translate the meaning of the mantra into Tibetan. And so it's potentially because they wanted to retain that kind of feeling of it being sacred, of retaining that kind of respectful, sacred quality. And they didn't want to fall into just like an ordinary linguistic habit. So these highly erudite translators certainly could have translated the meaning of the mantras into Tibetan, and there surely must be a reason that they did not.
Ta ngaso te ta kar lap sam o nga da ba ku gupa jim sin te chik te song do wa da tak tong nga kra yis nga da jo te nga so dalan zimba me pa tende yong ya de tong da re wa teni nga ke tong da de so yor ya na tan zimba yong go do wa ko na dong je yor wa na dong da ma da ji la ge de hotel te lan do sam ba gen zimba je yong go wa ta ta nga so Sanskrit na yin se ne da te se de na telan zin yong sa yo ma re wa ten do nga korang da go jum si dalan zimba me ba tende go zo ya ke chi de wa gong do la da trak tong do to ya te tong da de yo na kon zimba yong go do wa.
So one possible reason is for this retaining the Sanskrit of the mantras is that the point of mantras is to realize through their sound the unity of sound and emptiness. The nature of mantra is the unified sound and emptiness. And so if we translate the meaning of the mantra into our own language, then we'll be fixating on the meaning. And so we won't actually maybe have as easy a time understanding sound and emptiness. If the meaning of each mantra was translated into our own language, then we would be thinking about that meaning. And that isn't quite the point. The point of mantra is to allow us to realize sound and emptiness.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Hmm?
I have one.
Yeah.
Regarding the bodhisattva motivation of Yamantaka to destroy enemies, and I'm trying to grasp that better in my mind. And I was thinking about things like how parents sometimes are very fierce with their children, right? And also how there's a saying we have in the world, best way to destroy your enemy is to make them your friend. And so in a way also, enemies must be having some afflictive emotions and confusion and ignorance in order to be an enemy. So in a way, is it like the parent being very fierce with the child and stopping their activity? Is it that kind of is the motivation for Yamantaka sort of like that?
Just
So you said a lot of things. So what is like the essential question that you want to ask?
Well, when it comes to strong language and the fierceness of kill and destroy, it's hard for me to feel a motivation towards those words, as bodhisattva action. So I imagine, Yamantaka isn't hating. He's not hating when he's destroying.
So how should I understand? How should I understand the language of hate, of destroy and kill? Okay.
And yeah, that's all.
that destroys jute kola no patanya ke chet la ko yo marwa. Penang aso bo ni na te phama ke bugun samchang la dongre. 동자 휴거리. 이나 생대니 제가 전부 요라. 보고 때라 누구 당고서는 동거 요 말이다. 다티 내가 말함다 오지. 다티 마음 발때 무독자한테 찬로 서리서는 잠잠로 동거 요라. 이나 생이 제가 전에 대비가 요라. 그런 데서 조준다고 자야. 대나 인거 배직대리. 배인바제 나서 내 잡침보 나오나 대 샥주 당고도가
맞아.
샥주 당야তে 잡고를 내가 넣어봐
맞아.
얘나 거기 조보가나 들던데서야데 콜로 도보 당고 쳇 말이야
맞아.
코 내들 자터면서 안 돼서 요라 대나지 삼노당의 파전들이 요래
So the destruction is not to feel powerful. For one example is in Tibet, sometimes parents will like lightly hit their children as a disciplinary measure out of great love and affection. So they're not doing it out of maliciousness. Parents will hit their child if their child is acting inappropriately, because they do not want that child to become a bad person in the future. So they're correcting their behavior out of love. That's one example. Then another example is if you have a very grave illness, sometimes you need surgery. That surgery can look very wrathful. It's intense. But it isn't to hurt you. It's so that you recover from your illness.
Okay? Yeah.
There's some online questions.
Okay.
Go ahead, Simone. I'm just going to try to pin your picture. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. So can I ask now, or will you read the questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So my first question is, You said that there are three mantras. One is the main mantra, there's another one for protection, and the third one for repelling. I would like to know a bit more about when is it the right occasion to recite each of the mantras, and if you could elaborate a bit more on that. And the second one is, let's say I'm doing the dishes or I'm at the bus stop, and I recite the main mantra mentally to accumulate the mantra.
주세요.
Dangpo di nga so tsawai nga test drill she so yine sungwe nga dang dokwe na di kadu yongres yang drua shendak di mitse lega karen chena yang nga dena semla nga dena digrebes
우리 다 나한테 가두 다 렘바 간저리 있으나 담보 될 자방하대 다 님바 장사요래 요래 가장 라빈바 다상센 원에서는 다 다상 참대 통나 때 야슈래 매네양 담보 님바 야고래 님바 야조테게 라당가라니 바로는 레바소가 요래 되니 다다 송화가 하다 도바 하도 좀 레별이 레까지가 요래 빼나데리 님바당이 님도서 마소 다다 빼샤사 고여라 빼샤소 요래 빼샤소 담보 빼샤 요나 되니 레별도서 다 잘라니 원도 요래 저 담보 랑코니오거나 빼샤사고도 와 님바가 빼샤사가 요래 되니 레별도서 다죠 모다뇽로네 되니 모다뇽 때 배조 당가 요라 디나 인지 로요래 담보 자베님바 되니 송하 되니 동하 된데서나 대책치.
We'll answer your first question first. So the stage of the mantras is first you accumulate, you repeat the root mantra. And as I said yesterday, if you can actually do the month 3-day retreat on the root mantra, that's really the best. So you do the month retreat, you do the root mantra. This is a period in which you and the deity are making a connection. And then once the connection is made, then the protecting mantra and repelling mantra are the application of activity. Then you take that connection and you actually kind of like apply whatever action you need to. So, for example, when you're doing the root mantra, it's sometimes called called approach and close approach. That is like, in a worldly context, like you're earning money. You're getting your money together. And then the application of activity is like you have the money and now you can spend it. Now you can buy some things. So the approach phase, when you're doing the root mantra, it's like you're earning your money, you're getting your money together. And then the repelling, the protecting and repelling, the application of activity is like now you get to go buy your car.
If you have a car, then you can go wherever you want. Yeah, similar. 그래서 저 님바 사메나 레비얼스이구나 렌로고 말해. 저 빼자면은 나 모다 골라나 제가 뭐와.
If you don't accumulate the root mantra, then you won't be able to accomplish the activity you're applying. So if you go and say, hey, I would like to buy a car, but you don't have money, they're not going to give it to you.
드니 니바테 다 가지는 님발로 조리스는 대로 조요래. 내가 내나 님발로 조요래. 다 님발로는 저랑 대사를 생각을 해요 바로와. 대야 버려 가지는 님발로. 되는 양참삼 답되고 뭐도 님바 흉충충 이게 되나 저거 요래. 대다 좋아.
Then, as for your second question, is it okay if you're at the bus stop and so forth and you want to repeat the mantra? Absolutely. You can repeat the mantra when you're at work, you can repeat the mantra whenever you think of it. It's really a sign that you have mindful awareness, that you want to repeat the mantra. But sometimes if it's like an inconvenient location or time for you to have an audible mantra repetition, you can do a mental repetition.
Rinpoche, I was just going to ask you about Manjushri. So you get to know Manjushri first, then you get to know Yamantaka? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
대래 콘로탄 대래 봐. 현재 냠내세거나 당분 잠배 양한 냠내세. 되니 현재 그 니바사. 되니 레비오고 콜파안도 된데스름 바른 반도가 여러분 가서 가장 라빈 봐.
Exactly, yeah. So the progression is that, as we said yesterday, first you meditate upon Manjushri, then you do the approach mantra of Yamantaka, and then finally you do the application of activity.
Okay.
Sue Young, would you like to go ahead and ask your question?
Hello. My first question is, Lama, if you could speak on visualizing at the navel as an option for visualization. You can ask the second one.
Table la mikba la test joshing renonce.
대화를 봐. 다 현재 냠내세 버갑다. 홍제 공고 삼삼는 다 홍제 부 곰되는 저거 여러 봐. 대 홍제 부 곰제대 그러니까 저는 뭐지 그 손나 다 저당 그 배자는 년가라 곰라 여러. 이나 대화를 곰나 야게를 예송도. 대화를 곰나 가르스는 야게 여러선 다 년가라 다봐 맥바대 되나 그양 센데마데와 근데 그 잘게 년가 요사래. 드니 대화라 곰되나 드니 홍텔라 드니 메요죠. 텔라티네 드니 가르르스나 대화가 초와들와 대화가 초와데 대화니 zon데 대화네 제가 요래. 드니 텔라탄 테네 드니 참산을 드니 홍당 메곰된 조요죠다. 드니 텔라 대화가 초와 요죠다. 대가는 바이긴데 드니 조보 가사칼라 야 참네. 드니 테가 핀토 망보 요요사래. 맞소 티 또모 곰스도 오네서나 티나 예세네 대화가 조지야 그 제대로와. 대화가 조제고는 대화니 연구이다 뭐.
Sometimes when we're practicing Yamantaka, we can focus solely on the Hong syllable. And if we're focusing solely on the Hong syllable, Garchen Rinpoche has said that you can visualize that in your navel. So the text says that we should visualize it in our heart center, but Garchen Rinpoche has said that sometimes if you're focusing all the time on your heart center, it can make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And so it can be better to focus on the Hong syllable at your navel. And that Hong syllable at your navel should be a flame. And that flame, and the reason for that is that it will bring about a feeling of bliss. So at your navel, you visualize a Hong syllable that is a flame, and that flame is warming you at your navel area. And that warmth brings about a blissful feeling, and then you can spread that blissful feeling all over. And it has a lot of, I think, benefits. So when we practice Tumo, we do a similar thing where we visualize the warmth of a flame, and that warmth creates bliss, and we spread the bliss. So that's the reason.
Thank you. One more question. Garchen Rinpoche has mentioned if you accomplish one deity, you accomplish all of them. So if someone accomplishes a deity, what reason would they want to do another practice for another deity?
대대리다. 원에서는 라제랑 럽송나. 되니 고 말이 원에. 라탐 타만데 야와탐지 예실론도 지 라탐지라 그 돈다 쟁마도 요 말이. 남바 같이 만나야. 쟁럼은 되게 상기에 차 턱고 요래. 얘나 다 나서 다다때 저렇게 남도 마르소. 뇌바 마르소. 태총 마르소. 그봐. 던들레티네 직 던들레티네 종고요래. 니다 가셰게 양티 주반 진거고 요래봐. 주바텔라탄 예담 망보 요래. 때 예담 망보 때 양다 셈치 망보 그때 감다 뭐바 망본다 만달레티네 제 술라 예담 가르게 레당 렌초요 하고 말봐. 그래서 양삼삼 셈치 망보게 제도 예담 망보도 고고 요래봐. 마차마 레당 가르와 직바 말에 감다 뭐바 직바 말에 텔레티네 고고 요래. 원에서는 예담제 냠솔랑소나 되니 되게 당게 요래. 빼나 ng마한테 자가니 다 줍치 망보 종 요래봐. 자가 그 줍치 자주스는 누가. 때 파치도 라틱 마도 냐는서 요 말이다. 제랑라 냐는서는. 되니 담 볼랩서도 다 라망보 고 요래. 카페제 요래. 카페들 가르라 자가니 라틱 줍에 라잔 줍사. 라틱 줍서나 라잔 줍차리사. 보니 라자 줍네 라틱양 만 줍사. 된데서 라릭 빼제 요래. 뭘 trou터 망보 던데 히다 요다 요래. trou터 망보 요래 되나 다 춘양 내시면 망보를 봐. 대나 이거 trou터 망보 종요 말아 봐.
It's true that practicing a single deity, like accomplishing one deity, accomplishes all deities. As is said, in one deity is the singular expanse of timeless knowing of all the victors. While that's the case, so if you accomplish one deity, one single deity, accomplishing that deity can bring you to Buddhahood. One deity can bring you to Buddhahood. However, we are riddled with thoughts and we have so many misdeeds and so much doubt. So that's one kind of other thing. Another thing to consider is some people are really like interested in and kind of concerned with the lineage, and the lineage has so many different practices. And the reason for that is because it covers all of the various dispositions and constitutional makeup of so many different kinds of beings, so many different kinds of students. So we don't know what the karmic propensity of each individual student will be. And so there's lots of different Yiram deities to kind of match different kinds of people. Each person's karmic propensity, constitutional makeup are different. They're not the same. And so for that reason, different Yiram deities are presented as options to meditate upon. So the previous 100 Mahasiddhas of India, 80 Mahasiddhas of India, thank you, they became Mahasiddhas by practicing one deity. So they accomplished one deity and then really fulfilled it or became successful in that one deity and mastered it. And then, so it's like it is said that in accomplishing one deity, they accomplished 100 deities, or hundreds of deities, all the deities basically, but it's 100 deities. And then when the teachings move from India to Tibet, it's like there were so many practices and so many deities, and it's like then the people practiced 100 deities but didn't even accomplish one deity. And it's like a little bit of a joking saying to illustrate that it's not that there aren't Mahasiddhas in Tibet, there are so many Mahasiddhas of Tibet, but it's to say that you really need to see something through. You need to actually see something through to get the benefit.
야가 그 접진도 코란소 종사디마도 망보지 코그 냠리 가르세요 하고요 말.
Yeah.
상와세는 예담께랑 냠리센더와 망보지 종사디마도 예담 가르 냠리세요 시게요 말.
Yeah.
문에서는 상하তে 던데세 냠리세고도와.
Actually, regarding the Mahasiddhas of, they're just like, you can read their story, but for most of them, you don't even know which Yidam they were practicing. And that's because they kept it a secret. And actually, like, secret mantra Yidam practice was originally quite secret.
다 라제 라냐면서 대 야본 robsona 100% 라자마 룹데파나 이차고요. 대다 딘디레. 아저 대다 이치당. 대다 그 가르세고 뭐봐 요잖아.
Practicing one deity will bring you to accomplishment. That is 100% sure. So if you have real conviction in that deity and real devotion in that deity, yes.
Thank you. One more question online, and then we'll take some questions from the temple. Shivani, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rinpoche. I'm coming from a different tradition, so I have not completed a nondro, nor have I worked with Manjushri. I feel very resonant with the teachings that you're giving and with Yamantaka, and I'm wondering, is there an appropriate way for me to come closer to the deity and engage with the mantra, visualization, any aspect of this practice without not having completed the nondro, etc.?
The kasangi mi keteshe jipare.
대 문로 걸 가르사.
Ngundo tangme yinaya yidam tak niru drayaki tap yorbe.
예담 타녀는 로야 그탑 요르다 타녀는 로고는데 예담 서주대 간데 임바 대대서 하고 거봐. 예담 서주대 산제 서주대 단직바래. 산제 서주대 간데서 차고 요래. 녀몬 바타마 상. 삼년제당. 시랍 뜻소 용서조 받으니 춥 제 던들레티네 상제석이 요라. 예담때 던들 제네더니 담보 상제 차더니 생진거 동도 예담 거 거서 던들서 향 줘래. 대인도 어때 다오제 얘나더니 대서 대바 레라오스네 요이로와. 녀몬바 사마 상산네. 더니 상년제라 대네더니 시랍 용수조 받제는 다 생진거 동 코나라지네. 제와 친구 마이 번하게 생긴거 동나 따바 던데서 공바 생긴거 동코나 셈 던데지 제대니 장축 수들 다 던데지 임바데 당부하고요. 대 던데지 하고 전에 드니 될 다니는 로래 나오러 봐.
The method for drawing closer to the deity is to first understand what a deity is, what a yidam is. And we can understand what a yidam is by understanding what Buddha is. So the Tibetan for Buddha is Sang Ye. So the first word Sang means cleansed. So it is a being who has completely cleansed away all afflictions. And then Gye means to unfurl. And what is unfurled is loving kindness and compassion and wisdom. So a Buddha is a Sangye, is someone who has cleansed all afflictions and unfurled all qualities of loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom completely. And then a Yidam is that Buddha who then decides to act for the welfare of all living beings as a Yidam, the deity, to only engage in the welfare of others lovingly, like a mother caring for their child. So if you understand that, then it's very easy to feel close.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to some questions in the temple. John, if you could just hold your question for a sec. I'm going to give this mic to Ryan.
Hi, Rinpoche. Two questions. The first question is, in the preliminary part of the practice, do we self-generate as manjushri when we do the accumulations?
Re jambayang nyamle sepe kapsu jambayang daki re ngarang jambayang gom go yo re te pechana duptab na tan song yo re.
Yeah, when you're doing Manjushri practice, then according to the text, yes, you first do a self-visualization as Manjushri.
Second question, it's a practical question. Say if we have a friend that we love very much and they're really angry and anxious and they're hurting people in their lives and they're hurting themselves based on like strong anger that they have. Like it's clear that we can do this practice to benefit ourselves and like cleanse ourselves of anger and other obscurations. But if it's somebody that that we care for, can we do this to like lessen someone else's anger, or someone else's fear, or someone else's?
Ngazo ki sem ngazo nyam di nyamlen chena ngazo ki sem pengere. Ine ngazo nyamlen chena mi shenda ki sem pengere pen tupgerebes.
Te pen tesa pin tobure karesini pin tobure sena keni chiranga nyamle se ti tela tesa ke ko nupan ro yo re. Nupan ro te ke phalo ti ke yedang tela tesa pin to ba chik teni yong kare. Ni ba te karere sena chiranga nyamle sindu chirang pin to yong do wa. Te ke chirang ti sanjing ji chere tesa ro yo re. Chirang sanjing ji tesa yo ba zu ba yo ba chik chana 대그 팔로텔 슈진텐 고 해당진텔라 고 디슈진텐 대고 해당돼서 총론으로 와라 빈도 요래 된 문에는 코타바 해당나 추랑 빼조바 곰 다동 파사년진도 세든 제세는 코 홉데클은 요한도 세바래 네 되니 이만 잭세는 코테 고 차온도 차 되는데 랑 파직들 슈진테가다 yinpa chirang nyamne se munglam jaba tala tene ti toke yin tala tesa shukin taba. Tende se yungu yore.
Yeah, the answer to that is sort of two parts. The first is it is possible to develop a kind of power in your own practice that can in which you can work with others, their minds as well. And then the second part is when you practice this meditation, you are benefiting your own mind stream. And the way that you're benefiting it is you are increasing your loving kindness and compassion. You're increasing your patience. And when you have more loving kindness and compassion and more patience, then that is going to be felt by others around you. So if you have a friend who's very angry toward you, but then you show nothing but patience and loving kindness and compassion toward that friend, it's possible that that will change them right away. It's possible that will kind of like embarrass them, like make them feel like, oh, I'm acting inappropriately. So that's also a kind of power that you can develop. But likewise, it's possible that through your aspirations and practice, you develop a kind of power to radiate towards others' minds.
Te karasana chik tere ngaso mo kaka yena ya mo kaka tato tesa mo so la te samno tong tang tesa mandawa yona ya sem ke yete sem tigri ni yo mar mo ka se mana ya sem ti tigri rewa cha de pa cha tela tene te gachen buji la pa te sonda tangone tane gom ja ne tende se ne te tawa tengen zen te se du mo mangbo la te pa shukjin te ro yores ran yi ko he dang chon ro nyo mo ba chon ro mo te gom jab de na te ka ta making tong ko yo ma ro yina te pa mo mangbo ke sen la chan ne teni mo mangbo te ke nyo mo ba te chon ro to go ro so do wa.
So one thing is that while it appears that we are all different people, it appears that we're all our individual selves and that everybody has a different way of thinking, really the fundamental quality of our mind is the same. So it's like there's one mind between us. And Garchen Rinpoche says that when you meditate, when you're really in the view, when you're really in deep samadhi, that has the power to actually diminish the afflictions and to actually diminish the anger of lots of other people because of this sameness of our minds. So it's not something you'll see with your own eyes, but it's like it radiates out to, it pervades. It pervades every mind, and it diminishes the afflictions of everyone.
Mo tsama ka sen tek yin ba ka ta kar yo re sena ta ga chen bo je ta we na mo tsama ka sen ha ko ndo do hi ke do te kar se hi ge yo re sen re wa cha de yo ra yin ba ka sen ni kar ting do ko la kar go go do te tsama ka chan te che ka lap song xiao ma re ba ko nge ma rochester la Hinji Dwan so the young insa. Then Hinji Dwan thoughts a pandro caps, Gachin botic red envelope to tell Sonsa.
Oh, really?
Dinner como jat and Natun dose. Co pan lawyer could bass ticket a como jat and up you go yours. Call up a yak on your maze. That in the door. Young Arizona, let you put it Sausin. Voluntary, like us in Chusol Chayur. Coca Katan Lapsum, Katan Yungata. So pan so did you. Nimatilla Ku Hango de Medusa. Hango de Sukukoyona Medusa, Yimbati Gondro Sandosi. Ina Kola Hango Yimba Yoda Yose. Then Yamaka Hejin, Robotica Kola Yimba de Sonsi, Bark check. Bark station. I cast at it. Hango Jindosa. Tina ye rumbo che ta ha ko ndo ma chama ta ka ga lab ma la ri ma do te kar se na ko nga so sen chama ti pan ro cha di ro te ni rumbo che ka sen pe chama cha cha ri wa te la te ni shi ge yo re chama
One sign that we all share the same mind is that Garchen Rinpoche knows everybody's mind. He knows what everybody needs, what each individual needs. Sorry. Yesterday, Sean told us a story that when he went to Rochester to the Yamantaka retreat, a long time ago, long time ago, he was like a wandering, young Buddhist, and he went to the retreat, and he didn't know how he was going to get home. And Garchen Rinpoche handed him a red envelope, and in the red envelope was $150, and that was the exact amount of his bus ticket home. There's Rinpoche, Lama Thubten Nyima Rinpoche heard a story from a volunteer in Arizona. This volunteer in Arizona lost his shoes, like someone had just taken off with his shoes. Yeah. Like in a gathering like this, all the shoes are together, and someone mistakenly just took his shoes, not like a thief, but someone just took his shoes. And he had other shoes, but he didn't have shoes in that time. And then he's like, someone said, "Oh, this is a box for you from Garchen Rinpoche." And inside was a pair of shoes. So Garchen Rinpoche has cleansed his mind so clean that he can see the sameness of the minds of everyone. Yeah.
Because we all connected each other, basic mind. That's why he know. We don't know. Yeah? Okay.
Nga la tetso mambo yu nga daktak chegores. Daktak mena nga tetso mambo yu di diaborebe di duporebe karecheni di drabore dene tetso mepe ki tap kares.
다 담보 로장로 시베 값이나 대총 요난 저게 요래. 대총 요거 그래. 대총로 때네 때네 지라 시랍대 야제는 저거 요라. 얘나 당원에 샘거 동단냠네 시베 값수 대총 망자나. 되는 샘거 강나 내도고 요 말에. 남주행 가지는 뭐지 그 송거도와 샘거 온 통야তে 레라오레시. 얘나 대총 망자네. 대 연저 말이 대 연저 말이 던데 연저 말이 tende le lao ti yenjo mare san teni te ke teni pa ko topan ro zone te ma to ka ju na nga so seng ngo ga na le ko yo re sa tende indu ta te so yo pa ka ke gom nyang ne sim da wo che yena te so yo pa ka so teni ngarang te pa che shu ke la ma tende ma la teni son dab se ya dan lo son dab se teni te ke ji ni ka ya ma sa ne de se lulu se de gomja tabi ridwa.
When we're first learning about Buddhism and kind of studying, it's okay to have doubt because it's a way of developing our insight into the canon and understanding it, taking it on. But when we're talking about the meaning of the mind and when we're actually trying to meditate into the essence of mind, then doubt can be an impediment. So, let's see. if we have too many doubts when we're trying to rest in the nature of mind, we won't be able to rest there. So Garchen Rinpoche has said, resting in the essence of mind is easy, but then we have so many doubts about it. And we're like, is it like this? Is it like that? I don't know. Is it this? Is it that? And so then those doubts make what's actually easy seem hard. So...
Is that easy? Bingo!
So one method is to develop faith in that which you find most comforting or important. So you can supplicate your Lama, you can supplicate the Yidam, you pray, and that's one way to eliminate doubt.
Is it one should we just go ahead and let go of the visualization, all visualizations, while resting in our nature and absorbing into the mantra, as in in the mind of the deity? Or if we start to lose the concentration, we're falling out of Rigpa, to go back to the visualization as an anchor to absorb back into it.
Make sure.
Sengi rangjin la ne tupna, dene mikpa gogamarwa, yina yang rikpa ne shorna, dene yang cher mikpa che gorebe.
Really? Then go yang tsur sent ngarang mikpa gang dene tsur tin the go.
Yes.
Yang kaheke te sidoa narang gang dubayona tigana yimepasiata. Oh, I like this way, I like that way on this sidoa. Then this in the yomar. Cherante tendesena, then cherang dubana yi, Himani cherang dubana yi, same royo, chipare. They sent the Zojitango Yorova. Naranzoka. Same Koranga, there's an also Raman Yopadi zone. Naranga Kane ko de samnatana de tuni. Tendrik Zojitango Yora. They in the Kayaka Tendelago, ya, and the Delagado, the Delagado, they are not in Nakargana, this Yayomar.
So if you're able to rest in the essence of your mind, then you don't need to do a different visualization. But if you find yourself falling out of Rigpa, then you can return to the visualization as a support. But additionally, some people think because we're saying, you accord the visualization with your moment, some people take that to mean, I can visualize whatever I want. I kind of like to visualize it like this, or I think it should be like that. But that's not the same thing. That's not what we're saying. So the point of the visualization is to improve your mind and to develop some kind of autonomy over the comings and goings of your mind. And so it's not like a choose your own adventure visualization. Yeah.
Okay, John, you've been waiting a long time. I'm gonna spotlight you. If you want to ask your question, we'll go back to questions in a couple. Go ahead, John. You're still there.
I would like to know why Yamantaka has 3 faces and what the meaning of the different colors are.
Te tati ta chitopa na tene rehe mambo yore. El chetanker wo som yo pa te ko som chungzi se sum ne daleka.
kusum.
Chuko longo, chuko long ne tani, mayu yin to longo. Tani, tela mansa, chuko go ni simji gutun, zeso na dale. Sa tok zesung, paro singro, yongsu zo songa zele, tani mambo yore. Tani sena. Dona, sela namba kanda yona ya. Tige tamche, koranga nanga tukyuka, yundin re tani sena, rege jaya yonga yore. Tukyoka yungten tamche sala da tang taga goni matin de pa re sana teni daga yore.
There's actually a lot of different explanations given for the the representation of the three faces, what the three faces and the three colors represent, I should say. So one is the three kayas, the central face represents the Dharmakaya, and then the other, the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. So out of the Dharmakaya comes the Sambhogakaya and then the Nirmanakaya to benefit beings. And then there's other commentaries, giving different explanations. But one thing that is, no matter what the outer appearance is, know that it is representing a quality of the enlightened mind of the deity. So the particular qualities of the enlightened mind are represented in the different aspects of the deity. That knowing that is sufficient.
Teni re yendo Hindu yona, te taktu sini che taji goni tu pasinga kachang labi ba.
Oh yeah.
Te inji la joya pa yore.
Okay.
Teni tende tat jina tina na tata teni ha kore. Te ma to re yendo tata he che yo marwa.
If you'd like more detail about the symbolism, you can consult the array of signs, is how I would translate Tatgut. I don't know the particular title, but it is translated into English, and you can find that and read that. We don't have time to go into every detail.
Okay, wonderful. Question from the temple.
Hello, Rinpoche. On topic of doubt and kind of getting lost in confusion, may I ask for clarification how to recite the mantra?
What is it?
Nga kandres, nga.
Nga ye. Nga ato teka Yamantaka home page in the yore.
Is that what you wanted? Do you want it like slower?
No, speed is fine. I would just like to know specifically how to do it so I don't doubt myself when reciting it.
What is that?
Does that make sense?
Like, what are you looking for right now?
I guess the rhythm to recite the mantra.
Oh, melody.
Are you looking for a melody?
Melody, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nimba yobu kaps melody go mare. Pe tang mambo sagura ta palo. Tendes de ne chogo yore.
So actually, when you're repeating it, like what some people call accumulating it, there's no melody. You just say it. Yeah.
Teni dripchin sobu kaps yang melody go ni yang tende yore.
Yeah. In the Drupchen context, there's a melody, but when you're actually repeating it to yourself, there's no melody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Another question in the temple.
70 syllable. Okay, maybe later. Take on other questions first. I have a record here. Maybe I can play.
Oh, okay.
Simon, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. If I am not, please forgive me. You have a question?
Yeah, thank you. So my question arose from another question. So I try to organize like a monthly schedule according to the lunar cycle because there are certain more auspicious practices according to that. But my question is like, I read that Garchen Rinpoche said that you should take as many empowerment and teachings as possible because even if we don't practice after 7 lifetimes, we will get the fruition of that. So my question is, since we accumulate a lot of teachings on empowerments as Buddhists, how can we be sure which one should we take as our main practice and not feel like we're letting the other practices aside?
Okay. So Garchen Rinpoche Wang dang kachu katse magnayang shugo gedus kayin serna mitse dun jila sabang di mingeres yinayang ngato nge leki yidam drabo di kandres hagogo gedus.
Ngarang lentro kare yadam kare le yote zo ngarang ke muba che chongte ke te sa ko re. Yadam che le muba chenpo yo na te chirang la le yo ba ke tan ro re. Te ma to che ha ko ya yang te yadam ke wang ko kaps. Wang chenpo ten wang je pa ten ko kaps. Teni me to chen ko lo yo ne te me to te ka ba pa son ta ne. Tela tene tene chirang ke le ka re yo sa re se ngo tu se le tene che ya yo re. Zo mo te so su me pa ta ko re.
You can determine which Yidam deity is the deity of your karmic propensity by seeing which deity you're the most devoted toward. Whatever deity strikes the most devotion in you, that's your deity, that's the karmic, that's the deity with which you have karmic propensity. Otherwise, there are some empowerments that are very extensive, and you get a flower and you cast the flower into the mandala, and wherever the flower lands tells you which deity is your karmic deity. But really, so that's also there, but really it's your own experience of devotion.
Tene tata yedam ko wang jeba ka se meto chingko lo yo ne taya te. Chingko te ke na lo ke. Yedam shewa tang jeba ta wang ta trapo rek karel chiran len to te ta go yore. Ma to yedam yimba ke ko la lab go yo mare. Te karere se na ne ma yena ta wang jik shona tene te ken de wa. Wa mangbo shona tene se do le ti ju na tene ko ran gongba te mare wa. Wang jie shone tene ti langwa tene nyamle sen ro yo ro. Ti wang de ta na tene chirang wang jie shone sho ka se ti wang jie ba de sho ka se tene me to yo ne. Ti jing ko na lo ni so kan po dan len ro kan se te ta yo re.
So when we said the extensive empowerment and you cast your flower into the mandala, you cast your flower into the mandala and it shows you which portion of the mandala does the flower fall, and is it the peaceful, enriching, magnetizing, wrathful, so forth. So it's to tell you about that. It's not like casting your flower into like lots of different deities. And the reason for that is that back in the day, you didn't receive many empowerments. So the enlightened intention of the tantras wasn't to receive all of the empowerments. So you received like one empowerment, and then
that's enough.
Yeah, it showed you which to follow.
Wonderful. Okay, Rinpoche, there's been quite a number of questions on the chat. May I ask?
Yeah.
Okay. So Alice has asked, can we practice separately the 6 jackals section if we want?
Yes.
Great.
10 degree.
Another question. Question about visualization on page 19. Is the mantra garland very small? I think if we answer this, can we visualize the garland roughly, or do we know the exact, or if we know the exact Tibetan characters?
Te tambo de ti nga ke yegen ru yin do ngarang ke shi go wa. Te shi be che de tambo te chang be ja yin ban na ta den ru yin do kan ren duk ta. Teni te shi cha jisu teni tambo chen bo ndo go teni chong te tambo chang ke shi go wa. Shi be che te den ru chi al ta cho wa. Ye chi al.
So first we need to know what the mantric syllables are in the script that you're going to visualize them in. So you have to look at the mantra and see how it is, see what it is. So first you have to see what the mantra is, then you have to know that mantra, then you visualize it kind of bigger, and then you can make it smaller and smaller. But first you have to know what it is.
Thank you. Also, is the Vajra standing vertical on top of the sun disk or resting horizontally?
Ni me den la dorje di davorebe yang.
Ya lang de ware.
It's standing up.
Another question. We hear that there are so many names and types of Yamantaka, like Sedag, Chakdig, Trochu, Drigchom, etc. Is one of them considered the root? The others are emanations? What is the relationship between them?
Ta yedam che ina yang. Jamba yang che la. Jamba hin che namba mambo tende sene duwa. Tada ina yang tina ni sawe chupan rawo te tata nga tu nyang le si je hin je te. Teni te yin ba teni hin je marbo yo re te nani hin je chocho je sone hin je ta do dong je sone ndale ke yedam te se namba manda mambo duwa. Te ma che gelo pa ke hin je te be ka ka re wa. Ina zhe yin jamba yang re duwa. Ten du namba mambo yo na yang te ta zhe yi te jik pan rawo tende le ngun jing go yo sa re.
So all of the Yamantakas are the basis of them is Manjushri, and then their wrathful form of Manjushri is Manjushri Yamantaka. But Yamantaka looks lots of different ways. There's lots of different forms, aspects of Manjushri Yamantaka. So there's some that are red, there's some that have different amounts of faces, different kinds of implements, and the Gelugpa tradition has a Yamantaka that's even more different. So I think what's good to understand is that the basis of all of the different forms of Yamantaka is the same.
Thank you. Another question. Is it okay to investigate the Yidam and Dakini before deciding which one to devote oneself to, just like with the Guru, just like the Buddha said to investigate the Dharma for oneself?
There's a lot of things in one question. So, Dorje Tekpa Nangutla Ngatso Lama Malen Nguna Ngatso Takche Chegorwa. Di Nangshin Ngatso Yidam Dang Kandro Takche Chegorabes.
Yedam Kandro Takche Go Mare. Lama the Chetang Moriwa Takche Go. Yedam Kandro Sanje Gatua, Tela Takche Sigumare. Yena Cherang Muba Karel Chegando. Ti Jisundran to the Kachembore. Tepa Karchedu.
We don't need to analyze the Yidam deity or the Dakini like we do the Lama. We investigate the Lama before we accept a Lama because the Lama is a person. But the Yidam is an emanation of Buddhahood itself, so we don't need to analyze or investigate that. You can look into the quality of your own devotion and follow the quality of your devotion, your experience of devotion. What gives you the most devotion? What gives you the most faith?
Wonderful, thank you. And this person has also raised their hand, who just asked that question. So maybe I will ask you to unmute and see if you had a follow-up question.
Actually, some my question, put it in the chat, but fine. It was attention about as for feeling someone's heading towards similar deities. So, during the different ones, the key, uh, which
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You're actually cutting out a little bit. It's hard to understand. If you put it in the chat again, I'll read it out.
yeah, I can.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm just going to see if there are other questions. On page 14, what are the inner offerings? I didn't hear or see an answer to that.
Nangchu.
Sayan chopa, nangan chopa, sangwan chopa, te kona nijin chopa zoni chopa la ramba, ya jetang ya yonka yore. Ta sayan chopa ze chana karare sinang, ma chama ke tanglen yoba, yorwa, pe yabo, zibo, yaga de zo la jogoro, te ma chama kamun ke yorwa. Te rekse de chopa sayan chopa re. Te nanga chopa la men tang, rakda tang, torma. The two recte no mambo check yelan rogi homare. Penna mela mena that telpe ze mambo go yore. Kashe ngarang zu ta choles and oh te zorwon rowa. Me changa dutsinga so. Yabo marewa. Then rawata. Then rata sena te cha. Macha ta cha semandra ta tende rawa. Te mambo ka tanglen yo marewa. Toma yena tina yi min tang ra da toma to so te nangan chu ba se. Kareng nangan chu ba ri sen. Ta cherang la remba yin to. Ngop tu teng sar sar. O cherang ge yapo ri sana ngune sen yapo tang sorwo sen yo mare da sa. Nga so sorwo se jote ngarang sa nam to gu zu ya pa re. Te ngop tu si pe ke che te ni min tang ra da toma to so nga so ku chu ba le. Tā tēla sānō jī tāngarawa, tēla ndā xie yore, kō iya nē tāqwa chi. Tēne ngūne sē na kō mācāmba yinpa jimsī kāñyā mē bā. Tēndā ngō chō sī pē chē tu, tēne mīn tāng rā tā tō mā tsū nāngā chū pā la tsī kā yore wā.
So actually there are four levels of offering. There's the outer offering, inner offering, secret offering, and suchness offering. The outer offering is that which everyone finds pleasing. So that which everyone finds beautiful, pleasant, lovely, alluring. The inner offering isn't like that. So the inner offering is men, rakta, and torma. It's something that if you taste, you'll think this is like sour, bitter, like it's not pleasant, it's not a pleasant flavor. That's men, like not a pleasant flavor, something you don't like to taste. And then, let's see. It's just, it's dirty. It's not just the flavor. It's something unpleasant to like be with, interact with.
Cannot accept everybody. The other offerings, everybody's agreed. Yeah, nice things. Flower, incense, like this kind of nice thing. Offering is outside outer offering. Then like men, rata, torma. Some of this is not everybody can accept. They need more explains. Then your views go deep.
Yeah, so I'll just like fluff that up, but that's the essence. So like the 5 meats and the 5 nectars, those are really unpleasant. And rakta is blood. So Torma is in a similar category. So what is the purpose of these inner offerings that not everyone can accept? It's that your introduction into like the nature of things gets deeper and deeper. So your concept of things being good and bad, clean and unclean, gets reckoned with the inner offerings. So actually what you think of as dirty isn't actually dirty at all, is it?
No
sort of-
reason, no reason.
No reason, yeah.
If you deep think, no reason. Nature's clean. Dirt is not good, is only your conception met. For that reason, we have to inner offense.
Orela.
Okay. Usually with the inner offering, nectar, rakta, torma, those kind is inner offering. You only can say this offering is high level tantras. Maha yoga maru saju juju la tin choba te yong yo mare. Nam ju lami ju ni te yong yo re. Te tawa te sar ke teng sa tawa ten thor chin yo re.
In the Upa Tantra and Kriya Tantra, they don't have the inner offering. It's just in the unsurpassed Yoga Tantra that the inner offerings occur.
Okay.
Okay. Question in the temple?
Hi. My question is, in the Tibetan astrological tradition, is there a method to prescribe to the practitioner the deity they should focus on? And if so, is that a good approach to find the deity that they should focus on?
Just you?
I don't know how to say astrology. Astrologies? Tse, right? Who said that? Tse. That's it. Okay, thank you. Not ki luksola tsi gyabne yedam later ki yedam dam tukirebes.
Tende yang yo sare. Tsi jane ha ko to ya sangwa ke tongda mambo ha ko to ya. Tende yo re.
Yeah. There's a method in Tibetan Buddhist astrology to like figure out your yidam probably.
Tsi jane ha ko to mambo te. Tata yena ta chinre ke ngusu tonggo yo re ti nyema dang dawa te cho kandre rindo sa kola te kandre rindo ha ko yo ro. To na ngamo tsi jane ha ko ro. Tsi jane danzeng ta nyenjeng te cho kadi yong kon ta hige to wa. Lo to na ta danzeng ta nyenjeng te cho kadi yong kon ha ko yo re te ko cho tsi je ja yan do wa. Te la jane ha ko yo re ma to bo le chinre ke ne yo ma ro.
So these days, like science can determine, where the planets are, when there'll be a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, these kinds of things. But that science wasn't available way back in the day in Tibet, and so they were able to know all of the occurrences of the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, movements of the planets from their astrology.
Tende te ju jinang songya yo sare. Ju teyang tun korke ju no na tende mambo song sare. Tele tene tsi ja na te ha ko do.
Yeah, so there's some, it harkens back to the tantras, particularly the Kala Chakra Tantra has very detailed descriptions of astrology.
It's called the Chakra?
Kala Chakra.
No more questions. Oh.
Okay, then we conclude.
Okay.
Okay, I play this Yamantaka mantra, okay?
Oh, chikdu to kong la chikdu.
Okay.
So actually very simple. I just wanted to know if you could repeat there's the root mantra and then there's the added on mantra that you do for each of the different activities. Could you just repeat those so I can write them down?
Oh, you mean like Shintim Kuru Soha Nat?
다때 내 가장 라비오테 기땅 텐데서 요래 라비오.
Yeah.
다다 흰지가 님파tin 탈라다니 대시죠 유디 그런도 타면은 라면도 와. 텐도 기땅이나 다때 지마리 요 말에. 야 다때 지마리 요 말에. 지나야 딱다 저거로 다다고. 다다 카게 들어가서 라블레게 다다고 용거 말에.
Yeah, so what I was explaining yesterday, like that you add Shintim Kure Soha for the pacifying and so forth, that's just in general. And in our sadhana, it isn't written down. But he says I would feel more comfortable if you want to write it down, that you write it the exact way it should be written, not just like what you're kind of hearing, not like a vague approximation.
Okay, the Hindi can you but the letter draw chuk pat. Chuk patan, Judun pa, New York. Dinan and chuk patter in the wa. In an also Kabjak Duchin so in Judun pa lagore. Then the Nagan delati, melody in Judun palace. The chuk patal, melody kind of sigum machi.
So there's, so David had requested the melody for the 17-syllable mantra. So there's an 11-syllable mantra and a 17-syllable mantra. And when we do the Drupchen, we do the 17-syllable mantra. I don't know the melody for the 11-syllable mantra, but here's the melody. It's a recording for the 17-syllable mantra. Okay, I record only one time. You can chant, repeat again, again. Okay, so here tonight, we do short dedication in English. In English, okay. Page 9 in English. Dorje Chang, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Gampopa, Pagmo Drupa, and Lord Dragungpa, please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessing of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve the all-knowing state, by defeating all enemies' confusion. May all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, May I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dragungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Oh yeah. Tangatsu sani inarewa. Dema tampon dema tes nyamle sen. Nyamle sen tene nyimpa la lebdu rewa nyimpa de chadu. Tene ngatso hindi ka jinsek siare. Jinsek sibe kapsa tampo te nyamle chachik sibe ko yo. Tene tiki jini tadon chiching tang chwa chili sena chow yo.
Okay.
Oh, tene sidro te hindi ka zoram ko kola pesa yo.
Yang jinsek kapla ngatso tulo karpo gungo.
Tulo karpo yo na kongo. Tulo karpo tang, tene lato karpo triya tang, re karpo triya tang, so hiwa jense la tene gogo yo.
So the plan for tomorrow is that, and he'll tell us the time, but the plan without time involved is that we will come together and we will do the practice that we've just been taught about, and we'll do up through the mantra section. And then once we get through the mantra section, we will go outside and do the pacifying Yamantaka fire puja. And then after that, we can come back and, complete the practice and do some more teaching. We're going to do a brief teaching of the completion stage and have some more questions. As for the pacifying fire puja, if you have white clothing, you should wear white clothing. You should have the white blindfold cloth, fire puja stuff.
Tene shinji ke nyimba tata tinjo chukchik pa dan chudin pa si ni. Te chudin pa tala hana matha binda te mang yo ba. Ruto hana matha binda.
Binda.
Om adro teka yamantaka hana matha binda hompe.
Okay.
Other ones om adro teka yamantaka hompe. Hana, Mata, Binda, 6 syllables.
So the Hana, Mata, Binda is added to the root mantra to make 11 syllables. So that's the 11 syllable mantra.
Okay. That written down for everybody. So.
Don't worry.
Okay, everybody.
Catherine, is it okay if we leave the stuff here for tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start at actually 9:30.
9:30.
With the practice, followed by the fire offering, followed by Richard Brooks' very concise practice. And then in the afternoon, it's over at the safety, followed by other teachings and. All right. Cool.
Look carefully. Okay.
Are you going to be in Seattle? Thank you. Thank you so much.
This house is the best. Yeah.